This LAFC team is the best team we have ever seen in Major League Soccer, and this loss doesn't change that. End of conversation.
Really frustrating to have a home game in the semifinal with a chance to host the final and not get it done. We don't feel that right now. But we're going to continue trying to take the football ideas that we have and challenge guys, find ways to make guys better and continue to develop. So for me, I don't look back.
Get strong and come back next year and be better. It's the only thing. It's the only way to be a good club.
Like, as you continue to play through your career, you understand that you got to be able to let things go quickly and start focusing on what you can control. So once that game was done,
their dream has died here. It is Seattle.
You realize that you have to start preparing yourself for the next season, and if you dwell on failure too long, then it'll impede your future success. So it was a pretty quick turnaround for me. This is the first time I actually get to be a part of the first training session and, just be at full strength and be there from the beginning with everyone. So, yeah, it's exciting. It's funny how it took 3 years to get to that point with the team, but no, it's definitely a good feeling to be there from the beginning of the season. Yeah.
Back on that play a little bit. Look, the way we work is still that there's a big, sometimes we just, for simple terms, call it a game model. The game model is everything. It's what happens when we get the ball. Positioning, it's spacing, it's positional play, it's looking forward, it's attacking movements, it's what kind of passes, where do you receive it. It's all of this, and it's what happens when you lose the ball. So they all go together. We're working on trying to establish for everybody what is the game model. What are the things that we try to work on every single day. I mentioned Man City. We'll show a couple plays. We'll show a few plays from training. And it's just so that you have a little bit clearer picture every day of the things that we are looking at and trying to improve. Good? Look, they're defending a little bit. Am I taking away an inside pass? Am I coming from a different angle to take away an outside pass? You're always thinking. Then we talk about the windows, all right? And the moves. So in this moment, is that Lindelof? Boop. Oh. Okay. All right. Those kind of movements. We are working on that every day. It's a part of how we play. On the ground, first touch movement, attacker rearranges through the window. Really good football. Not a lot of running around at the moment. Now the recognition. We think that's good football. We think that seeing those kind of passes, having that type of understanding, seeing those windows, we speak about that and work on that every day. Okay, good, let's do it. All right, first, as we get started today, what do we want to accomplish? Get it to 50. And a 60, maybe somewhere to about 70. That's it. For the new guys, you start to figure out what's going on. For guys that have been here, It's a reminder, and then every day we can just start to build on that in a good way.
Carlos, coming back this year after coming so close last year, is it a little bit of an unfinished business?
Of course, I think we're still having one more step, so that's a motivation for us because we feel we are the best team in the league, so we have to show in winning titles, and I think this year is the target. We are ready to fight, we are ready to work hard every day, and I hope this year can be our season.
How's it going? Happy New Year. Man, it must be a big day. Scott's here. Holy. I heard you were going to be here, so I said, I wanted to come out for this.
Bob, obviously you guys had a historic season last year. Going into year 3, what's the mindset? What's the motto?
I think it starts with just that we've got an idea of what kind of team we want to be, what kind of club we want to be, and how can we just keep building on things. That includes the kind of football we play, that includes the mentality. So many of the good things that happened last year were based upon just accumulating good training days where guys show up, they're in a good mood. We have the kind of football in training that guys are excited about, and then they come back the next day ready to go again. So we're just trying to pick up on that part of it.
The off-season, it's obviously a challenge from the perspective that your players are away from your training facility. It's a good time for players to rest, recover physically and mentally. Some players could have upwards of 9 weeks off, so that's more than 2 months. Plans are really tailored towards specific players, but really the objective is to make sure that the players are getting enough conditioning, training, to almost act as a pre-season.
Tracking the guys in the off-season isn't the easiest thing to do. Obviously, guys go all around the world, and so we have to find ways to appropriately reach them, but also make sure that we're giving them the time and space to feel like they've gotten away.
I was in Europe, so it wasn't so difficult to find places where you can training, and the weather also was nice, so you can training when it's winter. I met some friends. I was doing at least once or twice a week, so we can play, with the ball. Either we played futsal or we can work on the field with some balls. Plus, of course, I was using the gym as daily routine. That's why I was going every day since I don't have games. So even when you get stiff or a little bit sore, you can just keep pushing until you pass that part.
I went over to Spain and I was able to work there with a personal coach that I know from my time over there. So I was able to work with him for like 6 weeks, and then I just kind of followed the program that Daniel and Tom had set up for me. I kept in touch mainly with Daniel, and we would talk maybe once a week just to kind of stay in touch, and I would send him the weights that I was doing, I would send him the program that I was doing. If I was doing any additional work, I would send it to him. And then he would just kind of give me feedback on if he wanted me to push and go higher on the weights, kind of keep it where it was. And so that kind of easy communication that we had throughout the off-season kind of helped me stay on top of my routine and stay on top of the off-season work.
Okay, listen up, just like every day we got a theme. Okay, today's theme is lateral. Okay, anything in that frontal plane, you do a lot of work here. What we're focusing on today is the lateral push-off, okay, creating that right angle for you, whatever that may be. Structuring the strength conditioning program week 1 is really important. We make sure that it's always all about the field and what the guys are doing during training. If Bob's looking for a certain training session, we want to make sure that we're always keeping that in mind because that's the most important thing. And then we address their individual needs in the weight room based on how they're coming in, assess with it in the off season, and go from there. Set. Go. Hold. Go.
We know that coming back, the first week is really just getting back into the swing of things, and the body is going to adapt. Sometimes a little negatively, so a little stiffness by the third and fourth day. So we obviously account for this in the additional load that we put on the players, and that would be the strength and conditioning that the guys do off the field. We really want to get guys back into good habits. So the first week, maybe even the first 2 weeks, you see that our load numbers are not very high in the gym. We're really trying to work on good movement mechanics and get the guys back into good habits. There are probably 3 different plans running at any one time in the gym. And so you're really, again, trying to get guys into a good base. We know that we're not going to peak their strength development in this 5-week preseason, but it's to create good habits for these players that they can carry on through the in-season.
I feel very good coming into training camp. I think this is the most in shape that I've been through all my years coming into a preseason. So I feel very good, I feel light on the field, I feel strong.
We want to push performance and get the most out of players and not be afraid to chase some intensity, but of course we have to understand how they came in, what do they actually do in the off-season, and all that comes back to the conversations we have with them, tracking what they did, just trying to be honest and vulnerable with where they're at in that moment and then progressing them from there. Zone forward, Danilo, lead them. Yep, go. Hey, hey, hey. We are very grateful that the coaches have a really good touch of what guys do in the field. Obviously with Bob's experience, he knows what certain drills will create, and whatever that intention is of that exercise he's trying to perform with the guys, he kind of knows what that load is going to look like after training. And so we work with him and have a good idea of what he wants and what the players need, and do the same thing in the weight room and try and track those loads. It's important that we have something that's measurable, and so we can see if we're doing the right things or the wrong things and make changes if need be.
A shortened preseason poses a number of challenges. We had a lot of emphasis in our off-season planning, different to previous off-season plans in terms of how much high-speed running exposure we expected players to get. We got them to do some change of direction drills during the off-season to really act, as I'd said before, the preseason, so that when they came week 1, we could already start maybe not as low as we would have started in previous years. We realized to get players up to full match fitness in 5 weeks is a challenge for the players themselves, but you obviously want to go into that first game in the best possible shape that you can be.
Coming in, I was really thinking about those games and how they're going to come very fast, and like in the schedule we're going to have very important games right away. So I didn't want to come in and be out of shape and have it take me a while to really get to the level where I wanted to be. So I knew that in the off-season I had to train, I had to prepare and get here and be in the best possible shape to kind of like give myself the best possible chance to perform.
Relationships are always the most important part, and building that trust doesn't come overnight. It takes day after day after day to communicate with these guys, let them know we're on their side, and really understand that we have their best interest out for those guys.
Accelerate out, a little quicker, open up.
Each season as guys come back and they kind of know who we are, what we're trying to provide for them, I think the biggest thing that I can show to them is that I'm just here to serve them.
Well, obviously having that trust and that like confidence that they can get you to that next level and that they're going to help you improve is very important, and I feel like I developed that over the last season with Daniel and with Tom, because I felt like I just got a lot stronger as the year went on. And coming into the off season, I talked to them a little bit about my goals and how I want to get stronger. And they kind of helped develop a program, knowing the kind of the surgeries I've had and everything, to keep that in mind. So we were able to have a program that was really focused on me and how I could get stronger and get to the season in better shape.
I think the relationship that you have with your strength and conditioning coach is very important. I have a very good relationship with Daniel Guzman and Tom Job, our coaches, off the field, on the field. We've built that rapport with one another throughout the last 2 years, and I think, going into this year, I've put all my marbles into them, and my faith is with them, and they give me the right programs to work at, and yeah, I feel as good as I ever have. And that's kudos to them.
The guys we have here working with us on our, how we're taking care of our body, how to keep our fitness, our mental, like in high levels, they really make it easy to us because it's not just like giving us like, hey, you have to do that, you have to do this. They explain to us, why we should do this, why we should that. So for me as a player, it's much easier when you know why you're gonna do this exercise, because sometimes some exercises will be like annoying or uncomfortable, but when you know what's the purpose for these exercises, you will be doing it. That's kind of relation we have.